Good afternoon now, everybody. This is Bill. I'm the founder of notarycoach.com and author of Sign and Thrive, How to Make Six Figures as a Mobile Notary and Loan Signing Agent. And this is Tuesday Notary Titans. Thank you all for taking time out of your day to join us. Our co-hosts are Carol Ray, founder of Notary to Pro, and really the trailblazer in loan signing agent training. And then, of course, Laura Biewer, founder of CoachMeLaura.com, is also going to be joining us here in just a couple of minutes. We will have hopefully at least one or both of them online with us here in just a couple minutes, so you can get the full perspective of opinions and training as we move through this. So, whoops. Now I'm having tech issues. Okay. Let's go ahead and get started. I think the real power and the value of Tuesday Notary Titans is having the different opinions and perspective of at least two of us, even three of us. So what we're going to do first is just open it up to questions from you. So this is just going to be me for right now, guys. If anybody's on the call, live on the call, you have a question, a situation, a challenge, maybe even a major win that you've experienced in January, and you'd like to share it with us here on this first call of February. Judy, I see your hand coming up. Go ahead and unmute. What you got on your mind?
Okay. Can you hear me okay?
Sure can.
So at my other job, somebody came up and they wanted, they're trying to get a hold of a notary, and they say they are having problems for a hearing by telephone administering an oath. I live in Tennessee. The guy is here in Tennessee, but it's for the state of Virginia. And I have called the Secretary of State. I've called the notary, the county clerk. Nobody seems to know what I'm talking about. Is this something that I can do, which I think I can because it's administering the oath? But they're saying when I Googled everything, I have like 2 sheets of papers. And how do I go about doing that?
That's a great question. Great question. It's sometimes hard to get the clear answers that you need. So this is going to be a much better question for Laura Biewer. So if it's all right with you, Judy, let's pause on this.
Yep.
Because I know she has the expertise that you're going to be looking for on this.
That's fine.
Great.
Thanks.
She should be on anytime. Ruth, you have your hand up. How's it going, Ruth? Ruth in Montana.
Hi, Bill.
How's it going?
So, you know that I'm very busy this time of year. And it just happened to be that we had a new secretary hired for my office. And she was in the office training last night. And I got to kind of listen into her talking. And I'm the instructor for our company. And I overhear her say she works for a title company. Ooh, right?
Yeah.
So I come over and I introduce myself. You know, they introduce me as the instructor and da-da-da-da-da-da. I'm putting together my magnet business cards. And then she goes, I've heard of you. I know who you are. And I went, whoa, wait, what? So that was kind of a nice win. And she took several of my cards to take to her closer so that I can have in-house signings here in town. But it was really interesting that she had heard of me. I didn't know her from Adam. I've never met her before in my life. But she was really nice that she was like, yeah, I've heard of you. I know who you are. So that was really, really cool to have. So just get your name out there. I mean, like me, I'm putting together my magnets here. I've passed out over 500 in the past 2 weeks. And yeah, just get yourself out there because, you know, they will find out who you are. They will know who you are. So that was awesome.
Yeah, that's a huge win. And congratulations on Ruth,
Thank you.
Ruth. To take that even a little bit further, you know, this industry, this community is a really small world. And that's why it is so, it's imperative to act with integrity in what you do. And this is where the 4 pillars really comes in, right? The competence, you really have to be competent at what you do. That's where you're training, that's participating in these calls, diving deeper like Judy did. She called the Secretary of State, she called the NNA, she's digging down deep to get answers. That's your competency. And then the second pillar is your confidence. So once you have the competence, you have to be able to demonstrate your knowledge in a way that doesn't turn people off and gives people confidence in your abilities. And that's equally important. And then, of course, there's the integrity piece. You have to know what you can and you can't do. And then you have to do what you said you would do. And then finally, you have your likability factor. You could have all three of those other pillars like on fleek, but if you're a jerk, nobody's going to want to work with you. And those reputations spread almost as fast as a good reputation. So you really, no matter what, you were working on growing and becoming a well-rounded, well-versed, educated and experienced notary. So you do get a reputation. And it's funny, people are talking about you, not necessarily in a bad way, but sometimes in a really good way. You know, when you start being a hero to some of these transactions, escrow officers, closing agents, real estate agents especially, they remember you. They're like, oh, I've had this nightmare. I've had 20 nightmare signings, and I finally found somebody who knows what they're doing. I'm going to cling to them. And that's the kind of reputation you can really grow out. Let's see. Carol, you here yet?
I am. Sorry.
That's all right.
Had a student in a last minute signing, needed help. That comes first, no matter.
I'm going to have to dock your pay, but I totally understand. Well, welcome to the show, Carol. I'm glad you're here. Laura's going to join us here in just a couple minutes as well. Carol Ray is the founder of Notary to Pro. Carol, what are you excited about this week?
I am excited. I actually have a lot of things going on that I'm excited about. But what I will share is what I'm looking forward to, which is a week from Thursday, when we launch that Primetime Notaries, which is kind of aimed at the more mature audience, like 50s, 60s, 70s. And we're going to have, I think we're going to have a guest, which is Roger Reel, who is one of the most intelligently person toward notaries that I've ever known. He is the founder of the Ohio Society of Notaries. And I think it's going to be really exciting. There's going to be 4 of us on the panel, and we've got a lot of people signed up for it. I think it's going to be really interesting exchange to see some of the situations that the more mature people face as they get older and how we work our way through it and just keep on chucking.
Love it. I love that that's gaining so much momentum too. So awesome need that you filled there. All right, let's go ahead and dive into the presentation. You all right with that, Carol? You ready?
That's fine with me.
All right, let's do it.
As long as I know the answers to the questions that are asked. I hate feeling dumb. You know, sometimes it's like, oh.
Me too. All right, let's see what we got here. Okay, so are you guys looking at the screen now, the presentation with Carol, Laura, and I? Okay, awesome. Thank you, guys. All right, first question. When notarizing a loan, I had a couple in which the husband was 35 years younger than the wife. They had current ID and everything checked out for me as a notary. I'm wondering if I should have asked some probing questions or just go with the fact that the wife married someone who could be her son. Jeff in California. Interesting question. Carol, what do you think?
I think out of mind his own business, as long as the identifications match and they tell him what they tell him, stay out of it. It doesn't matter. And I have seen huge discrepancies between husbands and wives over the years on some things that really make you wonder what the heck's going on. But you know what? It's their business. It's not yours to get into.
Yep, that's pretty much sums it up. Guy, you're gonna see some interesting shit, all right, in this business. You're gonna see some things that just blow your mind, freak you out a little bit, and warm your heart. I mean, you get the whole spectrum on here too.
This was wonderful.
Yeah, it really. I mean, it's the whole tapestry of the human experience when you're a notary public. But the remember, we're not enforcers. Our job is not to enforce the law or to question anything outside of what our tasks are there at the table, which is just to identify the signer, make sure they know what they're signing, and that they're signing it of their own free will. Not too much more than that. Yeah, and then like Sue says, as long as she doesn't seem under duress or him under duress or any of that, those are the types of things that we want to make sure of. Great question, Jeff. Great observation as well. So I keep hearing NSAs talking about attaching a loose certificate to a document. I'm in North Carolina, so is it okay to just line through the other state and county and just print my state and county on the original certificate as long as the verbiage is correct for my state? So I think we're talking about just the venue item here on the certificate. Carol, what do you say?
Always okay to cross through the state that you are not in and the county that you're not in, and you put in the state and the county where your feet are planted when you're doing the signing.
Exactly. In fact, you're compelled to do that. That's the one thing. That notary block is yours to own, so you want to make sure that you whose jingle? Is that your jingle, Carol?
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, that's all right. A ringing phone is a good thing in this business, so that nothing.
We finally got an answering service that I really like. They're friendly. They make people feel like they're really contacting, somebody, a staff of mine, and it's taken the burden off of us.
Yeah.
It rings every 3 minutes.
Wow.
Sorry.
Yeah. Hey, no problem. No problem. All right. Laura, are you with us yet? Laura Biewer.
I talked to her this morning. She was going to have to step out in the hall to.
Yeah, no problem. She's probably still setting up. No problem. So, question is from Richmond, Virginia. How do I market my notary services to gain more clients? I have delivered business cards to various places and companies, made just about all I come in contact with aware that I'm a notary public, market heavily on social media. Am I missing something? From Richmond, Virginia. So I don't know, Carol, this sounds like it might be general notary work. Do you mind if I take this one?
No, not at all, but don't forget the magnets.
Oh yeah, totally. So, and funny because Ruth is doing that right now. She's preparing her magnet business cards. Which are very, it's old fashioned, but they really work in this industry, both on the loan signing side and on the general notary work side. So let's talk a little bit about general notary work, and hopefully Laura can jump in and chime in as well. But in general notary work, your business is going to come really from four main areas, right? And I have to write these down, otherwise I'm just going to forget them again on my own. So in general notary work, the first place, and probably where you're going to get most of your business, is going to be from a search engine optimized digital presence, meaning a website or some other like Facebook page or something like that, that's optimized to drive traffic to your website. Because most people, when they need a notary, they just need a notary when they need it. So they're not always planning ahead. So they're just Googling notary near me. That's why it's so important to get your search engine optimization on point. It's a very complex thing to learn, so don't overwhelm yourself with becoming an expert just yet, but just know that search engine optimization is one of those daily things. You build that into your daily dues. I got to add hyperlinks. I've got to add images. I've got to take fresh images every day that shows my journey, and you're uploading that. You're adding keywords, all that good stuff that's involved in search engine optimization. The second way is through relationships. And these are going to be strategic referral type of relationships. So in general notary work, we know that some of the most lucrative appointments are living trust appointments, estate planning services in general. So who does those types of documents? Estate attorneys, family law attorneys. Any type of attorney is probably going to need a notary or a mobile notary at some point. So those are all great. Plus, you have the hospitals. You have senior living centers, all of those types of places. And I want to address, because I know whoever this was from Richmond says, I've delivered business cards to various places and companies, and that's great. dropping business cards is really, it's a fraction of the relationship building. When you drop business cards, you should be picking up like 3 or 4 others as well. Anything that you can do to maintain control of the communication puts you way ahead of anybody else. It's real passive and real easy. For me, I'm an introvert. I don't want to talk to people. I just want to get in there and I want to check off my list that I dropped a business card. So I get to do that and I get to take credit for that. But the payoff on that is a lot less than if you get a business card and you initiate contact and you maintain contact. So you stay in touch. That's the key difference in that. Alicia, I'm going to mute you right now. Laura's back. So as soon as I finish 3 and 4, I can't wait to get your feedback on this one, Laura. But the third one is still that old-fashioned advertising, and that's going to be your magnetic business cards. That's going to be some of the display ads, like in community newspapers. You can get really cheap some of those display newspapers for like a community. Those types of things still work really well for general notary work. Again, it's how you do it as well. It's your messaging, it's your copywriting, it's your consistency. All of that plays into the success of those types of programs. And then the fourth one is, I knew it was going to go out of my mind and it did. Laura, are you with us?
Can you hear me now?
Laura, save me.
Can you hear me now?
I sure can. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Well, you were doing just a great job, Bill.
I was. I
heard the part of it. I don't know if what the fourth part is. That might come back. But what I did want to say is where you left off regarding dropping off business cards is that I don't go to a place without an agenda. My agenda is not to leave a business card. My agenda is, can I learn something about what they're doing and how I might find a role in that or a place in that? Or do I have something of value innately, like education, that I can provide? So when I go to a hospital, I try to find out, can I make a contact to talk about what I can do for them, not so that I can tell them, they should be using me for my notary services. Here's my card. So I think it's really important that wherever you're going, either you're bringing something to them of value to begin with, or you're there on an educational purpose for yourself, which is, I'd like to understand how this business operates or how it works, so that you have a better understanding of whether or not you even have something to offer to them.
I love that. And I love how creative you get on this too, Laura, because you always are finding ways to bring value to people. So it's not just selling stuff. It's not walking in there and saying, hire me. It's like, here's something
right.
that I have to bring to you. I know that your employees or your staff need to know this kind of information and they have it. So that's another great way too, that falls under the relationship building for sure. So Laura, I just had SEO, relationship building, and then that old-fashioned advertising, which does include the car magnets, by the way, guys. I know somebody mentioned it in the chat, but those car magnets really do work. And for $25, $30, your return on investment's huge on those.
Yeah, I agree with all of those things. And I also get work, surprisingly, from other notaries. So just people that my network generates work, because when I have work I can't handle, I'm sending it out their way, and vice versa. They're sending work my way, or even better, connections my way. And so my network works as a marketing tool as well.
I love that. Thank you for bringing that up. That also reminded me of my number 4, which is the online directories. There are 3 major directories that, based on the feedback from notaries around the country, tend to pay for themselves. These have free versions, and they also have premium versions. So you got 123 Notary, you got Notary Rotary, and you have Notary Cafe. And then anybody else that's having great luck with online notary directories, if you want to list them in the chat window, like if you're getting business from something, list it in the chat room if you don't mind. That'll be great resources for everybody. All right, now, Laura, Judy had a great question. regarding, she's in Tennessee. She has a question regarding a swear-in. And she's having a hard time getting some answers. Do you mind if she comes live and asks her question?
Sure.
All right, Judy, you're on.
Okay, Miss Laura. What they're asking for, this gentleman needs someone to do a hearing by telephone administering an oath. I have tried to go to the Secretary of State. I tried to go to the county clerk's office, and I did research. I've got 2 pages, and they live here. I am here in Tennessee, but the court hearing, the telephone, is in Virginia. First of all, is that something that I can do since I am in Tennessee and he is here? And
Did you want to finish? You want me to answer that part?
yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So, yes, you are authorized to administer oaths and affirmations. All notaries are in all 50 states, as long as that person is face-to-face with you at the time. So that's the first part. Second part is you might want to find out what the oath or affirmation is that you'll be giving. It could be something like, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Or do you swear that the testimony you're about to provide, is the truth? NNA law primers have some examples of oaths that can be given or affirmations that can be given. There's no document to stamp and sign when you do that. If you're maintaining a journal, that's the record.
Okay.
And they would sign your journal.
And does it matter what it is for, like DUI or child support or anything like that? It
doesn't matter. Topic
Okay.
doesn't matter. You're authorized to administer any oath or affirmation in your state.
Sweet. Okay, and the second part of that is, it was telling me like the system from in Virginia would send a piece of paper, and that's why I was asking about that, because I wasn't quite sure when I started digging into it, and nobody knows anything about it, but it's on Google. Let me see here. Yeah, they said that they'll send you, I'm so sorry. The notary will be contacted by phone or email by a hiring entity, most often the litigation support firm. And then they'll explain the assignment. And the other part of that is it says something about you cannot use your cell phone, and that they would tell you where to go. So have you heard of that as well?
Well, when I'm a traveling notary, so I meet my client a lot of times in their office or at their home if they have a regular phone line there, and we're on speakerphone, so that the court can hear me administering the oath, and the court can ask me questions directly. Like what's my name, my commission name, what's my number, when does my commission expire, to give me the direction, proceed, administer the oath, those kinds of things.
And then you're done.
And then I'm done. Yeah, so I get there ahead of time, ahead of the appointment, to create my journal entry, get my money, all of that. So once I'm done with the oath, I'm finished. I can leave.
And how much do you charge for that?
Every state is different, so I don't know right off the top what Tennessee requirements are regarding travel fees, but in my state it's not regulated, so I can charge whatever I want based on how far I have to drive, plus $15 for the notarial act itself.
Okay.
So that could
ours
be
is the same way.
Okay, and so depending on where you're at, it could be a $40 to $50 appointment for that one notarial act.
Okay.
And I
Sounds
think
good to me.
I think one of the cool points that Laura, and I remember you brought this up at one of your skill builders as well, is on these types of appointments, you actually get your money up front because you're going to leave while they're having their court hearing, right?
That is right.
I've done a few of them over the years, long time ago, but back then, I did them where I had to go to, in Los Angeles, to attorneys' offices, and there would be attorneys on a mutual video back and forth from another state. I think one time it was in New York, and I had to give the deposition in front of the cameras so that they could record it. Of course, the person was in front of me, but I believe that at that point in time, I think I got like $150, $175 to drive downtown Los Angeles, do this, and leave.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really an experience. It was interesting.
Yeah, I wouldn't drive down to downtown LA if I wasn't going to get some big money for that.
But you're in Modesto.
Traffic.
I was near LA.
No, but even if I was in that area, I don't like going to downtown. There's a lot
No,
of
I don't
parking you
either.
got to
That
pay
was-
for. The
It's probably
traffic.
20 years ago for me.
Yeah.
All right, excellent, great. We'll move on to the next question. Thank you, Judy. All right. So next question. I have not read anything good about SnapDocs. Does anybody work with them? Sherry from Montana. Great question, Sherry. And I know there's a lot of mixed reviews on SnapDocs. Carol, can we start with you on this one?
Me, Carol?
You, Carol.
Oh, okay. Not one of my students likes SnapDocs. No, they don't. They're just perceive them as being a middleman who pays very little and keeps a lot. And of some of the things that I hear, and it's just hearsay, I've not seen proof of it, but that there are comments that are being able to be made about a notary that could be derogatory or insulting, and that they don't have the ability to be able to see those comments. And that upsets, it upsets people that they aren't able to see and rebut, certain things. So
I think from the perspective that I get from students all over the country, and Carol, I know you get them too, there's three categories. There is, I love SnapDocs. They're responsible for 90% of my income. Then you get some, and they're usually the notaries that have been here for a few years. They cannot stand them and wish they would go away. To them, they've devastated the industry because they've come in here and they've encouraged lowball fees. And then you have that middle ground where they're like, if it comes, it comes. So to me, it's one of those, if you're just starting out, it's almost necessary, right? Number one, let's clarify. SnapDocs is not a signing company. They are a platform that other signing companies and hiring companies and closing agents and even other companies now use to disseminate their signings. So that's a big distinction. So to me, they're almost a necessary, I don't even want to call them evil. I think they do what they do. You either like it or you don't. But in the beginning, you can get opportunities for a lot of signings there. I don't like to focus on them. Are you going to build a multiple six-figure business working on SnapDocs? Maybe, I don't know. I've never seen it. I think there's too many people taking little pieces of that pie. So include SnapDocs in your overall strategy, but don't lean on it too much. The other problem with leaning on one thing too much is that if that goes away or if one of their clients leaves SnapDocs, which is happening every day, you might not be sheltered from that. So you want to diversify your income. You want to get SnapDocs, you want to get other signing.
It shows, who's going in and out, who's leaving and coming back on. So I just chatted.
I'm going to mute Ronnie there. Sorry, Ronnie. Anything else on that, Laura? Laura, you don't use SnapDocs either, right?
No, I don't, although my record is in there. And I'm glad that you clarified that they're really a platform that just facilitates things. I think the biggest reason I don't use them for my purposes is the idea that I'm all about relationship building and looking at repeatable jobs where I can work with the same people and have a relationship. And I just don't find that with SnapDocs. Now, if I already have a relationship with a company and they happen to use SnapDocs and I see the job and think, hey, I do work for them, and I call them up. So I do track what's happening in SnapDocs. It's just not one of my methods of finding work.
One of the things I've warned my students about is that because I've seen this happen where they get caught up. They get their first signings from SnapDocs and they think it's great and they're excited about it, and that's fine. Get the experience. You know, I've changed my opinion about things about 180 degrees. So get that experience, and that's great. But what happens is then they start getting, they're so good. I mean, I'm really proud of my students, and they're so good that they start getting a lot of work. And when they start getting a lot of work, there's no time for them to take signings that might pay them twice as much. They're busy and they book every hour, and it's impossible to get out of that loop. So you got to be really careful. There's a time when you take it, and there's a time when you just don't and go after something else.
I love that perspective, Carol. And I think that's just real important. It really identifies the importance of having a good coach and mentor too. So you guys have access to all three of us. So if you ever got to the point where, like, if you fall in the trap Carol's talking about, and SnapDocs is your only client, you're killing it, but it doesn't give you any time to go out and build relationships with other either direct or signing companies, and you're nervous about taking the leap, get some guidance. You know, Carol, Laura, and we can have a quick call with you, and we can determine, you know, is this it? Is this where you make the leap? You know, what needs to happen to branch out? Sometimes you have to sacrifice a little to get a lot. We can coach you through that because we've all been there. Any other comments on that, on SnapDocs, guys? Carol, Laura? All right, great. Samara, how's it going? You have your hand up. You want to unmute and ask? Samara Talbot, you have to unmute if you're talking. Samara Talbot going once. Samara Talbot going twice. All right, we'll jump back into the presentation. Oh, Diana's here. Diana has a question. Hey, Diana Hanson, how are you?
Unmute.
You gotta unmute. I'll unmute you, Diana.
Okay.
There you go.
Hi. I'm doing good. I'm struggling with more exams and whatnot, but I'm really doing well. And I went to a RIA that I belonged to since spring of 2019. And I've actually gotten to know the owner and the inner circle people really well. And I have developed a relationship with them. And we had a meeting after the inner circle meeting, and they were teaching another way of doing an elevator pitch. And I guess I overthink it because, like you, sometimes I get real backwards and shy, and other times I'm like, hey, here I am. And so they said to ask 3 questions. They said, ask, what do you do? And then listen. And then pick up on the next cue to ask them, and what are you passionate about? And listen to that, and then let them talk. And then the last thing that you do is you say, and what makes your heart sing? Because from that information, you can figure out where you guys meet and develop and grow. It just takes off. And out of the clear blue this week, all these guys and gals, they just kind of went, I didn't know you did that. And so I'm now combining not only my passive investment stuff, I'm making my signing agent thing grow, which is actually my goal. I want to get back into this full time. And it happened.
I love that, Diana. Thank you for sharing that. That's an awesome way to network. And I love that you highlighted the listening part, because so many of us get nervous. I'm sorry, I'm going to mute you because I'm getting some feedback. There we go. Okay, I think we got it. Sorry about that. So many of us get caught up in the nervousness of it that we forget to listen. And then we have information. And when you have people who are, I'm sorry, is that me, or can you guys hear me? I got tons of feedback.
I hear the feedback. I thought everybody was muted.
Well, some people keep unmuting themselves, so I'm trying to mute them, but it might just be me too. So now I've lost my train of thought, but that was awesome, Diana. Thank you for sharing that. And I know that you're going to get your signing agent business kick in full swing again too. I'm excited to see where you go with that. You know, I think so many of us too, we have these opportunities where we have circles of people that we don't necessarily automatically connect to our notary business or our loan signing business. But every single person that you've ever connected to or you ever will connect to is at some point going to need your services. So it would serve you to build relationships, ask those questions about what they're passionate about. And maybe they'll ask you too, and you can share what you're passionate about. When you connect on those deeper levels, like what makes your heart sing, what you're passionate about, those are deeper levels. That's going to survive any type of economic cycles when you're connected on that level. Okay, great. Samara, are you with us yet? I'm going to unmute you.
See an apartment tomorrow.
Samara, are you there? Samara? Samara, if you...
Okay. Can't do it. I'm sorry. That's the only time this week that...
Okay, she's on the phone. Okay, let's jump back into this presentation here. All right, New Jersey Notary. I recently moved to another county in New Jersey. What am I supposed to make my county changes to as a notary? Who am I responsible to tell this to? So not knowing New Jersey specifically, I highly recommend that you check in with the Secretary of State, but most states, you have to report any address changes so they know where to find you if they need you. Like if somebody is asking for access to your journal or disputing something, the Secretary of State likes to have an accurate record of where you live, so I would start there. Laura, do you have any additional feedback on this?
So you said it exactly right. Whoever's the managing agency for notaries is who you need to communicate it to always, so that they're up to date on your status. Regarding doing anything else, your jurisdiction is the whole state of New Jersey. So you won't need to do anything except notify about the address change. Your commission is good in any one of the counties.
Perfect. I'm in Maryland. I'm struggling with marketing myself. How did you overcome the employee mindset to business owner? I love that question. Maryland, we'll just call him Maryland or her Maryland. This is one of the big struggles for many new notaries that come into this. And Laura, I know this is big for you, and Carol, I know you coach people through this as well. Can we start with you, Carol, on what you do to help people overcome this? Carol, are you still here?
I was muted.
Oh, sorry.
Which is probably a good thing with my mouth. I think that probably, this is really hard because so many of my students now, as we've discussed, are in the older range, which means that they've had a lifetime of working as employees. And that mindset is really difficult. But I think building excitement about what they're about to enter into, which is a whole new world for them, and providing them with the information, the tools, the training, knowing that you're there for them, kind of holding their hand as you will, is really, really important. So no matter what people are looking for, find a trainer, find a coach, find somebody that that you trust and that is going to hold your hand through things. Bill and Laura are terrific at it. I'm great at it. We all know what we're doing. We love our students. We care about them. And I think that knowing you have that kind of backing is probably the most important thing that you need. Once you get through that first couple of signings and you the excitement of doing this starts to build, I think it's very easy, that transition. It's just very important that I think that you know that you have a community too. So if you belong to a Facebook group, get really involved. You know, there's outside relationships that come from some of these groups too. And in fact, I have to tell somebody, I'm going to tell her publicly, Laura, I got a call. You're probably going to get a call from a gal in Pennsylvania. They have decided that they would like to put together a symposium, Notary Day 2020, and they're looking for information. So obviously I gave them your name because you're the queen of it. You're the one that started this symposium thing in the beginning. And so, but back to this question, it's just really important, I think, that first training, that first signing, those first, getting somebody involved in your life and knowing that they're there to really help you is what's going to get you through this.
I love that. Yes, support is a huge feature there. Laura, how about you? How do you help coach people through from the employee mindset to being a business owner?
I the biggest when you're an employee mindset, to feed you or to provide you with
Laura, can I cut you off for a minute?
Yeah.
Your service, we can't hear you. It's just super choppy, and I'd really love to hear what you say on this. Can you move to a different location, maybe?
All right.
Oh,
let me see. Let me go to another area.
That's better. That's perfect.
Oh, all I did was stand up.
There you go. Sometimes that's all you have to do, folks. Stand up.
Stand up and be counted. I think that moving from the idea of tasks and to-do lists, which is what we do when we're employees. We're told when you get in, these are the things you need to do. And then when you accomplish them, you get more things to do. And the driver is somebody else. And when I'm talking with somebody who's just moving into this idea of, I don't know where to start because I'm used to somebody telling me what to do instead of me deciding what I need to do. And I think it starts that far back of taking responsibility for yourself and you deciding, okay, you want to be in business for yourself. What are the things that you think you need to be doing for that to happen? You can't look to the outside. It's one thing to have a coach or a trainer or somebody to help you with the technical aspects of it, but itself has to change. When you're in the driver's seat, you're not looking to somebody else and comparing yourself to what other people are doing. And I think that's where it starts. And then you can start adding skill. You can start looking at how to find business and marketing and all the other strategies that come into making that business successful.
Awesome. I love that.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
I wasn't sure if you were hearing me.
Yeah, we got that. We lost a couple of words, but I think overall we got the gist of that. That was awesome. Thank you. So for me, the first thing you have to do to move from employee mindset to business owner is 100% responsibility. So you are the chief executive officer, the CEO of your company, of your future, of your life. So everything that we kind of take for granted sometimes as an employee goes away. And those are things like, somebody might always stock the paper. Someone might have a vision for the marketing. And you just kind of fit in when you're an employee doing that. So as a business owner, you have to be resourceful. You have to find that stuff on your own. You have to put systems into place to make sure that your business operates. We don't have an entire marketing team. We don't have a tech team. We're everything. And nothing gets done without our action and approval. So that's all on us. The other thing that's a big shock to people is the pay situation, right? As an employee, you get paid on the regular cycle, no matter what you do. If you outperform, if you underperform, if you show up, if you don't, you got vacation time, whatever, you get this consistent paycheck. So it's a little bit of a shock whenever you're a business owner and you're building up your revenue, you don't have that. So you have to prepare yourself, whether it's through a account or just through the bullet, knowing that you're going to be going through some stuff. The other big mentality shift is the clock in, clock out. If you're just starting out, to say I'm only going to work from 9 to 3 every day is going to be a challenge. One of the reasons I love this business is I have a flexible schedule, but I hustled to get there too. So in the beginning, it may not be as easy as saying, well, I'm going to clock in at 8, I'm going to clock out at 5, I'm going to take signings, and everything's going to fit right into that little box. As a business owner, it just doesn't happen. And if you don't put the hustle and the muscle in the very beginning, then it shows up in your results, whether instantly or even down the road. So you have to be flexible in what you're willing to do. And the other huge one is, and it's a trap, is that someone else will take care of it. There's nobody else. It's you. So you have to do the hard work. You have to grow yourself into the type of person that is going to be a successful business owner. You're going to have to learn things that you never thought you'd learn. And the key to it all is building in strategic routines and habits into your day. So everything that needs to get done does get done. And even though that sounds like a lot, you have to be able to give yourself a break too. There's no possible way that we can do everything that we have to do every single day. So you have to learn how to prioritize that and fit it into your business schedule. All right, great questions, guys. Let's see, we're still doing good on time. I'm just now starting and I don't have a fax machine. What's a fax machine? I have rejected some assignments because a fax back is required. What fax service do you recommend, and can you scan back instead? And they're from Texas. Carol, you want to take that one?
Yeah, actually, faxes are kind of an old thing that really don't exist much anymore. And I'm so happy because I had so many, my God, faxing, you'd be halfway through the fax and then something would happen and you'd have to start all over again. So what you can do now is I think the scanning back, which involves taking pictures of them, putting them into your computer of the documents, and then you email them. Just make sure that you've got a secure place to email them. Most companies now, large companies especially, will encrypt those documents so that they're safe. Consumer protection today is such a huge thing that you've got to be really careful. I always recommend a company called Our Records, which is just fabulous. I absolutely love them. You scan your documents and then put them on a flash drive or whatever. And that company in particular, you can load them. Even their huge sets of documents, they go in one shoot to the company that you're sending them to. They're encrypted. The receiving party gets a message that there's an email from you. They open it up. There's the documents. They've been there. No, they're not in any jeopardy, and that's it. But yeah, scan backs, fax backs. Don't buy a machine. Don't worry about getting an extra line in your home.
Perfect. Great explanation. All right. Question regarding this company, Notary Assurance. I submitted my application on their website a few weeks ago around the new year. I tried to send my credentials a few times via email and paid the fee. The emails bounce. I called the phone number on the website. I left a message last week and still no return call. Any thoughts or suggestions? Thank you, Diana Roth.
I need to address this, Bill.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm the one that has Notary Assurance is on our list of 4- and 5-star companies. I worked with these people for probably 10 years. I actually, years ago, my husband and I surprised them one day and brought lunch in them because they were within 40 miles from us. They're in Chandler, I think, Arizona. I have never had anything but a good experience with them. I did get a couple of complaints from students early on when they started charging I think it was $10.95 to sign up. I called them, I spoke to the owner, and they said that they were just so inundated with people signing up. They wanted to have serious people, and that money is refunded once they get the first signing. I put it out there. Somebody mentioned on Facebook that I had put it out there, and so of course I take responsibility for it. I read that this morning and I called and I've left a message, and if I don't get a call, I'm going to go further. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do. I did get something from a couple of my students that said, and I think there was something on Facebook, that they did do the same thing. It was a couple of months before they heard from them. And then since then, they've been getting work from Notary Assurance. They've always been just a great company, but let me know. Write to me, notarytopro@gmail.com, because I will do whatever I can do to make sure that they contact you, at least give you a receipt for the money. In fact, did you get a receipt? I don't remember, Diana.
I'm not sure if she's on the call or not, but.
Oh, was this one that was submitted to you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Do you see this? Am I up on the screen? I thought I was sharing. I'm sorry. Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, you are.
Oh, okay.
I did see that this morning, and I did respond
interesting.
publicly and directly to
great.
as well.
Good. So this might be, maybe there's something going on with their technology or their servers or something too. That could be what it is. So I'm so glad you were here, Carol, and you have a great relationship with them, because I do not. And they're even based here in Chandler. Big world. All right, great. Thank you. Let's see, 2 questions. I have your book, Sign and Thrive. At the end of phase 3, you recommend both courses, Sign and Thrive and Carol's course, Notary to Pro. I really don't have the budget for both. I assume there is considerable overlap since they are both entry-level courses. Am I correct? Carol, you always do such a great job of explaining this on the the foundations versus
yeah, I'm my teaching, my training, what I've been doing for almost 11 years now, I can't believe it, is the foundation. When I retired as an escrow manager, and I've said this before, I worked for 14 years as a signing agent, and I remember the beginning days when people didn't even know what that was. I realized that in 2009 that there was no training. There was just no really down to what do you do minute by minute practically to get started, all those little tiny details. And so that's when I put Notary to Pro together. I've retained that. I don't expand myself. I don't get like Laura's got all these fabulous things. In fact, I want to start really pushing what she's doing, because she can help you guys grow. Bill has latched onto this, and so quickly, he interviews people, he gets you involved and interested in so many different things and shoots you to the moon. If you're already a signing agent, you're doing well, you're not making mistakes, go to Bill. He doesn't, what is it, $33 a month, Bill? Is that what it is?
Yep.
We are at $225. It does include everything, including free entrance into our graduates website. And I mentor all of my students, but we're different levels. And I love the combination of the 3 of us, but mine is absolutely a foundation. If you're new, if you're not sure about what you're doing, I come first. And then I think Laura and Bill are kind of equal, although they're in different directions. The 3 of us they spell SUCCESS.
Hey, that's good. I'm gonna have to use that, but that's a great explanation, and I totally agree. You know, my course is I priced my course the way that I did because there's some good training out there. Carol's amazing, Laura's amazing. You might have other opinions about other training. The key is to get the perspective and get the tools and the systems that you need to succeed. So it's priced this way. So at some point, if you get the foundation, if you have no real estate experience, if you have never been around the industry and you're literally starting from ground zero, Carol's going to teach you everything you need to know about really structuring this. And then once you graduate, and if you're ready to go next level, if you want to participate, you know, I'm a crazy hustling serial entrepreneur. If you want to be a part of that, definitely jump in there. And then also get feedback and perspective. Look at the reviews, see who you relate to. Carol, they're going to spend a lot of time with us, right? We coach, I mean, we're on coaching, mentoring calls all day, every day. So we're going to be spending some time together. So you want to make sure that you can connect and that you receive information from whoever you choose in a way that is constructive to your business. So just trust.
Well, I've reconstructed our business because it's been overwhelming. And my thing is that what I love to do is work with my students one-on-one, be there. So Barbara does, well, my daughter Lori is in the business now. She's doing all the accounting and a lot of stuff for me. We've got an answering service that I just love. And Barbara's the everything else girl. I'm in heaven now because I'm with the students. I get to take the calls. I get to be there when they're downloading their documents and they've got questions. So yeah, I just love it. I'm happy camper now.
Love it. Great questions, guys. Thank you. And this will be our last question. When booking general notarizations, what would be an ideal time frame between appointments, including the fact that the client printed out the documents wrong, need to reprint and hold back for the notary? Or should I include this in my time or not? I'm in Orange County, LA. Last week I got a Good Friday. and got notarization close to home, back to back, but I only gave it 30-minute time frame. Is that too short? Laura, I'd love to hear on general notary work appointments, what's your general rule for cushion of time afterwards? Oh, you're still muted, Laura. You want me to unmute you? There you go. Oh, never mind.
Unmute now. Okay, am I unmuted?
You are.
Can you hear me?
Sure can.
Okay. All right, I'm trying to get back to the call. Why is it not? Well, I can hear you. I can't see anything. So now I'm all confused because I was struggling with my phone. It
no problem.
Started doing other things. What was the new question?
So the question is, when booking general notary appointments, how much time do you allow for the appointment?
So typically, if it's only one or two documents, my time at the location to perform the notarizations, I typically allocate about 20 minutes to take care of that. If I hit 3 or more, now it's like a half hour. You know, it depends on how many documents I need to notarize. But most appointments are just one or two documents that are being handled. Where I add time when I have to go into an environment that's not their home. So when I'm going to a hospital, I have to add an extra 15, 20 minutes to whatever I'm doing to accommodate parking and walking into the structure and getting to where I've got to go. If I'm going to a jail, I have to add 45 minutes to my time frame to the 15, 20 of the notarization because of that process. So environment will make a big difference. If you're just going to somebody's home, it shouldn't be more than 15, 20 minutes.
Perfect. And what do you do in the situation that, the signer has printed out documents wrong and there's problems now? So you've allotted 20 minutes, things were incorrect. How do you handle that?
Well, it depends on if it's fixable. If they say, oh my gosh, let me just run another one of these off, it's a few minutes. I'm happy to wait it out and redo it because I'm already there and I want to finish the job. If it's a problem that is not fixable in a timely manner or at that time, then I'm going to be leaving and scheduling another appointment with them. In terms of whether I charge for the time that I was there, I charge the travel fee. I can't take money for notarization I didn't perform. And then how much of the travel fee I charge depends again on, did this happen right at the get-go? I was there 2 minutes and we realized this wasn't going to work. Versus I've already been there, 10 or 15 minutes and we're finally getting to it and now it's still not working. The more time I have invested, then the more likely it is I'm going to ask for money. I have something called processing time or wait time on top of my travel time. So my travel time includes what's normal for me to get there, walk in the door, get ready to do the work. If I have to sit around waiting for signers or having them print stuff or fill out documents that aren't prepared after I told them that it needed to be done, then I will have a processing or wait time. And it probably is about $1 a minute.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for that answer, Laura. Great questions today, guys. That brings us just past the 2 o'clock hour for Mountain Time anyway. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to grow yourself and your business. Carol, thank you for joining us as usual. We really love this. And Laura, thank you for jumping on and finding a place to jump on with us. We really appreciate you guys. Thank you, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.